yes indeed, folks, you listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio and myself, Talk. This is a very positive Blue Please today, I feel. As in, kind of relatively happy about things. So, okay, let's get unhappy. Someone emailed me showing me one of the worst effects of copycatting items in the entire game. Savage Saronite Pauldron, same model as 22 other items. Good lord. And I thought my hat was bad. Ugh, they can't hide shoulders either. Disgraceful. Alright, anyway. I'm coming back to this particular topic of arenas as an esport, the state of PvP and WoW, particularly on the basis that a few weeks back, and this was very successful, and I did enjoy it, and the contest for this ends very, very soon, and I am hoping to have a good stab at it. I've put my entry in for it. If you want to check it out, go to my YouTube channel. Just look for Total Halibut on YouTube. You'll find my YouTube channel there. Or just check it out at the bottom of my blog, Please. It's blueplease.blogspot.com. Oh, I have so many things. Yes, I'm such a Web 2.0 kiddie. What can I say? Now, it got me thinking. What a shocker everything has today. It's just one of those days today. I've been looking for content. I try to make as original content as possible. Like I said, I either try to start debates or end them. So, I was thinking today about WoW as an esport, specifically arenas as an esport, and how before I did commentary, I felt that basically it was a dead duck. There was no chance, in any respect, that WoW would become a enjoyable esport to watch, and I gave reasons for that. Now, while I believe those reasons are still valid, I think that doing the commentary has made me realise a different aspect to enjoying esports. The game does not have to be gripping and awesome as long as the commentary is. Now, I'm not saying that my stuff's gripping and awesome. It's certainly my first try, and I do hope that it was a relatively good effort. But I do feel that adding commentary to the game seriously improves its chances, because it is a spectator sport. That is the essence of esports right there. If you want it to be a sport, it's got to be spectated. Otherwise, there's no point in even being a sport. It's just a game. That's the difference between it being a game and a sport. It's the difference between playing a game of football and playing the sport of football, playing a game of chess or considering chess as a sport. The difference is the spectatorship and the competition in that respect, being watched. So, I did this 3-minute piece, and that was all it was, and I had to listen back to it, and I'm like, well, you know what? Objectively speaking, from what I can tell, this is pretty good. It has flaws. There are mistakes that were made. But I feel that, particularly in my style of commentary, I try to drive things with emotion and passion and adrenaline as much as possible. Now, I did this to another game. Actually, I did this to 2 other games. I used to comment on TCG, of all things. Yes, commentary on TCG. And actually, that show did pretty well. It was called On the Cards. We used to run it as part of the Short Stuff program. And it was very popular for what it was. It was incredibly niche, don't get me wrong, but people enjoyed it. And it's like, well, how do you make cards exciting? Well, it's very simple. You get excited. As in, you as the commentator get excited, and you try and convey that to the listener. Everything is exciting to some degree, yeah? I like games, so to me games are exciting. There are very few games that I would say that I couldn't make interesting in one respect or another simply by shoutcasting them, Emperor does it very well as well. If you haven't listened to his Saturday night main event, then what the heck are you doing? Check it out on Saturdays. Go to our website. Go to his page, on the show's page. Look for Saturday night main event. You'll see when the next show is. Download his archives. This guy does shoutcasting on Warcraft 3. He also does shoutcasting on Dawn of War 2. And he's doing Empire Total War. And he's going to be expanding to all manner of other things. You think, well, how exactly can watching those games be interesting? Well, go listen to his show. You'll find out. Commentary can add an awful lot to the game. Here's the thing about commentary, right? Particularly in something complicated like esports. Commentary can allow you to concentrate on specific areas of the game without having to think too much. This is, I feel, what commentary is used for an awful lot of the time. It allows you to enjoy the visual elements without having to worry too much about everything else, because you're basically being fed that information. I said that I'd done commentary on 2 different things before. One of them was that. The other was Savage 2, which is still a great game in my opinion, but compared to WoW Arenas, Savage 2 is incredibly complex. Ridiculously complex. You're looking at an environment where you've basically got teams of 12 on each side. I was commenting, I believe, on a 7 versus 7, which is still a heck of a lot more players than you get in WoW. That's like 2.5 times as many people that you get in a arena match, for instance. Or 3v3, which is what they're basing their esports on. Now, I did commentary on that, and again, that's a very complex game. It's nowhere near as simplistic as WoW Arenas, and yeah, I did that, and people enjoyed it. And actually, in my Savage commentary review, I said an insane amount of views all over the internet. And that was a niche game. Really niche. Not a lot of people played it. It's kind of a shame. You should check it out, because it's actually free. s2games.com. Go download it, give it a shot. High learning curve, but still pretty good. Now, there's another game where this has been done as well. There was commentary done by Eve Radio, which is got nothing to do with us, I might add. It's not a sister station or anything like that, but I do respect what they do. And they did a commentary on the tournaments in Eve when they did an annual tournament. And it just proves to me that you can make anything exciting in that respect. And yes, you have to be semi-knowledgeable, particularly with WoW, and perhaps even Eve as well, because it's not all visual. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's not visual. Kicking a ball from one person to another is very visual. Watching a football match is very visual. They make it as visual as possible. That's the reason why the two teams wear completely contrasting coloured shirts. It's all very visual. But in stuff like WoW, things can happen under the hood. Yeah? You don't see exactly how much damage is done. So what they do on the tournament realms is they put the bars right there on the screen as big as possible to show visually how that happens. But still, you don't see necessarily what abilities are used, because some abilities share animations, or some animations are simply too subtle to see. Yeah? Kicking someone in as a rogue, for instance, is relatively easy to see, assuming you can see behind the giant great tauren that you're kicking. Doing a fireball, that's pretty visual, but there's a lot of abilities that are not so visual and are not so obvious. So it's important to make sure that the commentator is kind of driving that along a little bit. Now, I think one of the things which hamstrings WoW Arenas from the very get-go, and why it's been a false starter as an esport, is simply because of a lack of spectator mode. It's only a sport if people are watching. And while commentary helps, if you can't watch, then you can't be an esport. You're not allowed. It's that simple. You just can't have one. It's not viable. Now, it's funny because this is the first competitive Blizzard game that has not had a replay feature. Yeah? The two big esport games that Blizzard has put out, bearing in mind they've been incredibly successful in the area of esports so far, have been Warcraft 3 and StarCraft. Yeah? You're supposed to count Warcraft 2 as well, which also had a replay mode, but Warcraft 3 and StarCraft, they're the big ones. Both of them had a replay mode that was incredibly easy. Yeah? Really, really easy. And because of replays, esports have popped up. Yeah? People are now doing it on YouTube, now that you can do with the bandwidth. You can encode a good video. You just have to record the video, put your commentary over it. There you go. Easily done. I did the same thing with Savage. A video was put together with Savage using the spectator mode. The spectator mode, I could go to different viewpoints and stuff like that, show the game from different people's perspectives, getting close, go up high, all that kind of thing. Now, WoW does not have that at all, in any respect. And it does seem to me a bit pointless, because gladiatorial arenas never happened without people watching it. Gladiatorial contests were supposed to be for entertainment. It wasn't the competition necessarily. It was all about the entertainment for the people watching, not about the people competing. Now, obviously, we don't have gladiatorial contests anymore, but still. Football, for instance. Soccer and stuff like that. Sponsorship and all that kind of thing thrives on the point that people watch it, and it's a spectator sport. Yes, you can play it yourself, but you want to spectate the good guys doing it. And yes, it's also about the competition, but this competition is fueled by the kind of profit margins that can be brought in via sponsorship. Now, this kind of thing needs to also happen in WoW, and I've seen it happen to some degree. But again, the lack of spectator element makes it impossible. Now, it's been done. The system exists. It has been shown at BlizzCon. It obviously was something jury-rigged, but you could watch stuff at BlizzCon. It was on a big screen and people got hyped out and psyched up about it. It was fun. They got fired up. You heard the screams, you heard the roars when the arena contest was going on, and obviously people enjoyed it. There is an audience there. The problem is you're not letting the audience watch anything. That's a big deal. That's a way bigger deal, I think, than Blizzard realizes. Personally, I would like to do more arena commentary, but the problem is getting a hold of good videos for it is not impossible. The only ones that I've got are like the stuff from the arena tournament, and I would have to rip them from low-quality streams. I've also seen the finales where they actually did have the commentators there. Now, don't get me wrong, they did a pretty good job, but I think they were not as enthused about it as they could have been. And I think that makes it a little bit more boring. Because you're looking for people who are interested in the technical aspects. Now, let me make this clear from the start. I would imagine that most WoW players are not interested in the technical aspects of PvP, just as most WoW players are not interested in the technical aspects of PvE. It is a niche market. However, more people are interested in PvP than the technical aspects of PvP, right? They'd be interested in either getting involved in it or perhaps, just following it from a general kind of perspective. Now, if that's the case, and the majority of your audience are spectators who are not so much interested in the technical aspect, then they want to be excited and entertained. Now, simply watching a PvP match is not enough. It has to be accented by commentary. Now, obviously, these guys know what they're doing. These guys are good commentators. But I think what they need to do, and this is why I'd like to get into this as well, to provide kind of an alternative perspective, is to get in there and actually get stuck in and get it genuinely excited, or at least pretend that you're genuinely excited. Just be passionate. Allow your passion to come through the microphone, and allow people to understand why exactly you're so excited about what's going on, instead of like, oh, that was a very interesting move because he used this and this caused this and this to happen. Like, would you prefer that? Or would you prefer, oh, good lord, I don't believe it, how could that have possibly happened, and they're going in there right now, it's unbelievable, it's amazing. That kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit like a horse race. It's a little bit like maybe an auction or a cattle market, but it works. It's my particular style, and I'm sticking to it. Now, I'm not saying that everyone has to do that by any stretch of the imagination. There should be variety, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. But I do think that it's kind of important for WoW to get that degree of excitement into PvP. Now, looking at PvP, you also have to look at Battlegrounds. And the state of, well, would Battlegrounds ever really be a solid esport? That's interesting. It's an interesting question, because Battlegrounds simulate something that, say, Savage 2 does quite well. Savage 2 is about taking territory. It's not necessarily about individual and small-term kills, although they are an element of it. Taking territory and getting the tactical advantage, it's exactly the same as Warcraft 3. It's about taking territory, getting the tactical advantage. StarCraft, take territory, get the tactical advantage, whereas arenas are just kill these guys. Battlegrounds are kill these guys and take the territory and gain the tactical advantage. Could they work as an esport? Well, potentially. I don't think they'd be as popular, but I think there is certainly a market there. Now, I think the issue I've got at the moment is that perhaps Battlegrounds are not getting enough support, whereas arenas are being touted as this esport. And I think there are two sides to this coin. Yeah? You can't simply take one over the other. Some people are interested in one, some people are interested in another. Yeah? Some people will watch Quake as an esport, some people will watch Warcraft 3 as an esport. Or Empire. They're totally different games. Absolutely different games. But I think they're both viable. Anything that's competitive and team-based is viable potentially as an esport if it is marketed correctly and supported correctly. Now, I do feel that Battlegrounds at the moment are underrepresented, and I think they maybe have pushed a little bit too much into arenas, and I understand that they want to launch it as an esport, but I just think they've gone about it the wrong way, and maybe it's time to take a step back, maybe work on some kind of spectator system, because I think that is vital, absolutely vital, not only to learning to be a better PvPer by rewatching your old stuff, as to have a thriving market for arenas, arena replays, which it just simply does not exist because you can't have it right now. Even if you're Fraps, you can only do it from one perspective, which means you can't see the entire arena. It's not good. But in the meantime, I would suggest that they really get back on Battlegrounds. Have some progressive kind of fighting going on. Have something that's not just a sort of stadium-style game. Have something a little bit progressive where you can progress from objective to objective, perhaps across multiple Battlegrounds. Something like that. And in the meantime, focus on what makes an esport an esport. Instead of just pushing arenas as they are and expecting people just to adopt them, because they won't. They won't. You've got to cater to the esports market, and you've got to look at your previous titles and see what made them so successful in that area. Because yes, if you get enough good commentators behind it, if you get enough shoutcasters behind it, replay mongers, that kind of thing, people that have sites with replays on it, commentate on replays, write up battle reports and stuff like that, and you have a good enough community behind that, you can have a successful esport. And then you bring in the sponsorship because it's fun to watch, and you've got the players to make it entertaining to the market you're aiming for. My name is Total Biscuit, and you're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. When we come back, we'll be doing the Illusion of Choice. See how I extended there just while I was finding the drop in. I'll be right back after this, folks. Enjoy.